Well, it finally happened. I edited it all up. So, welcome back for another video. Thanks for joining me. If you're not subscribed already, please be sure to do that. Hit the little bell icon so you know when I post a video, because sometimes I do it randomly. If you're new to the channel, this is my RB25 swapped 240SX. Disclaimer, I bought this car engine swapped already, but all the engine work was done by me. I have a full build series up here. I'll link it, or you could just go through my videos. There's a bunch of content on this. Let's get into the, it's kind of like a build breakdown plus the price list, I guess, on this. So, this is the RB25 Series 1 engine. It is making 535 horsepower. Hopefully you can see that there. And 480 foot-pounds of torque. This is going to be a price, I guess a price guide for if you want to do this. For the power level I'm at right now, the engine is overbuilt, but I'd prefer it to be a little bit more overbuilt than underbuilt, so it lasts a little longer, I guess. Then when I get bored at this power level, which hopefully doesn't happen anytime soon because it is a little bit of a handful, brakes traction, I mean it has been cold out, so whatever. It brakes traction in second gear, sometimes third gear. I mean it should, right? Hopefully I don't get bored of this, but if I do, I could always upgrade the turbo. I could always go flex fuel, and I will be over 600 horsepower easily. I believe flex fuel and bigger injectors puts me over at about 650. That's with current turbo. So I finally got around to adding up all the costs with this, and it's a pretty hefty price tag. You don't notice it while you're just buying all the stuff to build the engine, but then after you come back and look at your little spreadsheet that you have on Google Sheets, and then you add it all up, and then you cry for like 20 minutes.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand. And
then you decide, all right, I'll finally make this damn video. So this is the engine build breakdown and the price guide. So if you want to do this to your RB25, this is how much it's going to cost. Or, if you want to engine swap it, I'm going to throw the price in for that too. So stay tuned. This is how to build a 500 horsepower engine. Let me just get my notes out here. Hold on. Alright, so this is the motor build cost. Is all... Probably left out some stuff. This is the motor build cost for my 535 horsepower RB25. Let's get into it. This is in no particular order. It started out as alphabetical order, and then it turned into just random stuff that I remembered and I looked up. So let's take a look at what this cost me, what small fortune this cost me to build. So all the prices I'm going to give you right now are prices that I paid for these parts. Some are like rounded up to the nearest dollar. If it was like 75 cents, I just rounded it up another dollar. You may find them cheaper, you might find them a little more expensive. Some parts I did get off like Facebook from someone, and some of the parts that didn't really matter I did get used, which wasn't many. So let's get into it. First thing is the split fire coil packs. That was $470. The next thing I have on my list is I got it as a package deal, was the injectors, which are 1050cc injector dynamics, and the zero fab intake manifold. That was $1,220. CX Racing intercooler. I never had any issues with it. It is an eBay brand, but it works fine for me. It was $451. HKS blow-off valve. I don't really remember how much I paid for it, so I just Googled it quick. Those go for $330, give or take. Catback, I guess you could do whichever catback you have on the car currently. I did buy it. It doesn't kind of go with the engine. Catback, $500. The Walbro 450 fuel pump, which is in the fuel tank, was $100. These next few are not necessary, but they're kind of necessary to see what's going on. I have AEM for all these. The air fuel gauge is $159. The coolant temperature sensor gauge is $195. Boost gauge, $180. Oil pressure gauge, $200. And then another coolant temp / using it as an oil temp is another $195. Wiring specialties harness, that was $571. The Dock Race turbo manifold, which is there, I forgot to add the price of the heat wrap and stuff like that, but the Dock Race manifold was $1,495. The top of the engine, I have Kelford valve springs. That was $381. I have Kelford cams in here. That was $1,156. I have CP pistons. I kept them stock size. I don't remember the compression. I may have gone up very slightly, but the pistons were $1,018. Then the next is the Manley rods and the tile wastegate. I got those in a package deal of someone from Facebook. That was $750. The head gasket is a Cometic head gasket. Once again, I don't remember the exact specs on that one. $175. Oil pump, Nissan N1 oil pump is $258. The Nissan N1 water pump is $204. Next mod isn't another one. It's not completely necessary, but it's a weak spot on like the 20s and the 25s. Is the end of the crank. It has a very short, I guess they call it a snout that comes in contact with the oil pump. You could get that machined off, get it extended. So that the extended crank collar is that $80. Franklin head drain, and I ordered the oil restrictors from them for the top end. That was $137. Here you go, the turbo. I think I got a pretty fire deal on this. It's a Borg Warner S300 SXE. I believe it was 66 mil. I don't really remember exactly. That was $500. I got that for $500. Clutch, another one. I guess you could get away with what you have, but I have a four puck sprung clutch. It's good for 620 foot-pounds of torque. That was $429. Turbo Smart boost controller. That was $85. I have ACL main bearings and rod bearings. The main bearings were $85. The rod bearings were $45. It's a pretty cheap upgrade if you're taking apart your engine. Definitely do those. Catch can was another eBay find. That was $95. Those range in price. You can find them probably cheaper or a lot more expensive than that. The machine work for the engine. Machine work, definitely need that done. Especially if you're gonna run like the Cometic head gasket. I forget there's a special roughness factor or whatever they call it. You're supposed to get the bottom of the head and the top of the block done. And got everything cleaned up. That was $420. Oh, then there was an order to my buddy Nismo Parts Plug. Check him out right here on Instagram. He could get you basically anything for Nissan. I don't remember what exactly the order was. It was probably just a bunch of gaskets and random stuff. That was $107. Another order from Raw Brokerage was for probably more gaskets and more random odds and ends. I know I ordered the press and fittings for the top of the valve cover. I think that was through them. A bunch of other stuff. That was $247. Hoses and fittings. If you're gonna go AN hoses and AN fittings, it's gonna set you back some money. So make sure you budget in some money for that because it gets a bit pricey. This is just a guesstimate. I may have spent more or less on these. Price this out when you're, remember, just be sure to price this out when you're thinking of doing an engine build like this. Hoses and fittings, $400. Custom fab work, because of the setup, they do have some companies that have the manifold that go with a downpipe. This one doesn't, so you have to get it custom made. I originally had you see that hole right in the hood, right, where is it in the video, like right here. I had a 90 coming off the exhaust coming straight up. That was temporary. Custom fabric for that. And air cooler piping, that was about $1,000. And that, whatever area you're in, gotta find someone to do it for you. Might be more, might be less. Depends. It's parts and labor. So all those items I just threw out there for this engine build was for a working, running RB25 that you already have. Not 100% all necessary, but when you're looking into the stuff and you want reliable, you want to like overbuild it a little bit. All that, here's the big number here, was $14,794.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
Now, a couple of these optional things that I threw in on my engine. I have it. I do recommend basically most of these. One of these, it's not recommended. It's up to you. It's completely optional, actually. Number one would be the Mishimoto oil cooler. I'm not gonna be able to see it. It's down here. I have it mounted behind the bumper. It was $168. The Greddy oil relocation block thing, that's all the way over here. That was $142. The oil block adapter, bolts to the side of your engine block. I forget the name of the company that I ordered it from, but they were up in Canada. That was $214. Powder coating, that was the one thing. It's not completely necessary. I don't remember the exact number for it because I got all the engine stuff and my wheels are powder coated the same color. But I rounded it out. I believe it was around $400 to $500. I'm gonna put $500 there. Then throwout bearing and pilot bearing bushing thing for the trans. With those extra 5 things, because I'm adding it in because I did the powder coating, that brings your grand total up to $15,896. And now I know what you're saying. You're like, hey Chris, what if I don't have the engine? How do I get it in the car at this horsepower level? So everything that I listed earlier already. I looked on eBay right now because, like I said earlier in the video, this car came engine swapped. It was a completely stock RB25, but it had the ECU. So I looked on eBay and a couple websites, and one of the cheaper RB25s with transmissions I was able to find was $3,300. So we're going to tack that on. The ECU, once you start getting all this extra shit on it, you're gonna need a standalone ECU. If you're keeping stock, you could run a stock ECU, but all this extra stuff, you need the fine tuning. I have an AEM EMS Series 2. That's $1,700, give or take some. And then engine mounts to get this to sit in the car. They range from $300 to $500. So I have McKinney engine mounts in this car, the $500, so I'm gonna put $500. The last 3 things that I listed of things that I didn't buy that are in the car, that brings our grand total up to, you ready for this one? $21,396. Someone kill me. So now, I know there's a few things that I missed from this, on this engine. I know there's a few things I missed on this list to add in, because now I'm thinking about it. There's a fuel filter. I had to make a custom bracket for the throttle cable, radiator and fans, but I mean, you should have radiators and fans already. Also not needed new brake lines. I did that. O2 sensor, but that comes with the air fuel ratio gauge. Blue hoses. I don't remember if I said the fuel pressure regulator. Fittings for that. Random other fittings. I definitely forgot to add in the intake manifold and the exhaust manifold gasket. Yeah, just random stuff. So, if you want to build a 535 horsepower RB25 engine, those are some of the costs you're going to have to factor in. Like I said, you don't need all of those items, but pick and choose wisely, because especially, I believe a stock RB25 could handle about 500 horsepower. But that's like the ceiling for it. If you want to go more than that, you're definitely going to have to build it. So forged internals. You don't necessarily need cams. My lifters are still stock hydraulic lifters. I do have solid lifters on the shelf that I'm not planning on installing because I heard it's a pain in the ass. Now I would say, like, completely bare bones, you just want to put an RB25 into your car. You're looking at easily about $5 to $7 grand. Now, if you want to build it for more horsepower, a bunch of boost, all the boost, you're looking at, I guess that would be 5 digits. You're looking at 5 digits there. So once again, choose wisely. I didn't add like the turbo blanket, the heat wrap, the turbo shield, the piping for the wastegates, other stuff. So just keep all this in mind. Learn from me. It's killing me to make this video after I edit it up. I might go cry again, but the car is fun. So here's a clip how it sounds just driving by. And then here's a clip with the wastegate opening up, which is pretty intense.
This thing fucking boogies.
So those clips, I don't have a good clip of the car yet because it's been very cold out since I've got the car back, and I really haven't had much time to mess with it. So plenty of drives coming in the future. Have more videos coming in the future about this car. We're probably very close to ordering a new front end for it. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe. If you have any questions about this, just leave them in the comments down below. I'll try to answer every question as best of my knowledge as possible. If not, I will try to lead you in the right direction for the answers. Tell your friends, tell your family. Building race cars out here. So join me again. If you want to donate, I don't know. There's a Patreon down there. There's like one person. If you want to join that, go ahead. Share the video. If you want to buy any parts for your car, especially any parts, use my Enjuku link down there. It helps me out. If you see the bill that I just paid for this car, this engine, to make it work the way it does and look the way it does, helps me out greatly. And I will see you guys in the next one. Yeah, join me again. Bye. Bye.